of course, you probably already saw this vehicle in, other videos, other content creators, but I really wanted to show to you guys what is probably the main reason why every Soviet man will research the Japanese tech tree. The Oplot. Yes, guys. BVVD confirmed that, at least for now, no Soviet Oplot will come, in the terms of being the Soviet tech tree. So the only way for you to get this tank, for at least for now, is actually going to be using the Japanese tech tree with the Thai Oplot, okay? So let's take a look on this tank, which is a very interesting depiction of a Soviet-styled design, okay? So of course it is heavily modified by the Ukrainians, of course, and it looks, it kind of almost doesn't even look like a T-series of tank, of how different this thing is, right? So it is pretty interesting, and I gotta say it is probably one of the best T-series of tanks that will be there, depending on the armor. Okay, so the armor is not fully ready yet. We don't know exactly how it will be. But according to BVVD, apparently it is going to be a pretty good armor. So we're gonna have to wait and see about the armor. But if it does have a pretty good armor, it will be a tank that becomes one of the best T-series of tanks in the game, I think, right? So we have, of course, a thermal system, as you see. Very good. I think it's 2nd gen, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, some pretty good rounds, a pretty good reload, auto-loading system, of course. Same good old T-series of tanks way of dealing with stuff, right? Fast-firing gun in a general sense. It is a tank that it is indeed very, very similar to, of course, all the T-series of tanks, but better in some ways. So, for example, the reverse speed. Yes, we finally have, it takes its time, but it is way better than any T-series of tank. Maybe it's not, I have to check compared to the T-80, like with the gas turbine, right? But apart from that, maybe, I have to check what is the max speed of that. It is a pretty good reverse speed, which is something that it really is good. Of course, the depression is pretty bad still. So, of course, if you want to... look at this. Yeah, it's just a bad depression. You have to put the tank out there to actually be able to shoot it, just like a normal Soviet-style tank. And, of course, we do have smoke grenades. And we have machine gun. And we have multiple types of ammo. So, we do have a APF-STS with around 550 millimeters of plant at 0 degrees, 0 meters. So, we're going to check it out later, the penetrations and stuff. But it is a pretty good, gun, of course. A pretty good ammunition. We do have, of course, a heat round, obviously. We do have HE, and we do have ATGM as well, which is very, of course, very similar to other, Soviet-style tanks. It has the Stora. It's not the Stora, okay, but it is a similar-ish system to the Stora, so kind of an APS there, but passive, right? And of course, hold up, I think it's a little bit, no, I think it's bugged, but it will have thermals for the commander. As you see, I cannot really see anything, but it will have the cameras and everything. Let's see if we can, no, the buttons are not working for me for some reason, but, you get the point, right? So very, very cool tank, I gotta say. It is pretty mobile, it is pretty fast, it is a pretty modern depiction of a T-series of tanks, okay? So let's take a look on the hangar, of course, with the inner bits of the tank. Like I said, guys, it is going to be, the armor is not going to be, really ready yet, but we can check it out. So, of course, it will have the armored glass. Yeah, definitely not ready. But, yeah, that's a lot of the glass, I would say. But, yeah, you have the composites over here that are not really, fully modeled, as you see. So, only some composites over here, and even then, it's not really fully ready. So, I'm not going to show the armor yet, but it should be pretty good. Let's wait and see how it is. On the terms of what it has internally, as you see, it has the normal fire control with the rounded... T80, if I'm not mistaken, is it the T80? I think it is, right? Compared autoloader, right? And yeah, basically just a normal tank. So we do have uh, the 6TD engine here, 1200 horsepower, which is pretty good. And then you can see the transmission, 70 kilometers per hour forward, 32 backwards. So let's actually take a look on the T80 over here just to compare it to the BVM over here. Let's see. I have to go to the transmission, of course. I have to put everything. 11. So yeah, much, much better than the T80s as well, right? So it fixes the main problem that these tanks had, right? Which is, you know, a reverse speed, basically. Oh, the armor is somewhat here, but it's armored glass. So yeah, it's definitely not ready. But you can see that it will have a lot of ERA, which is pretty good. Some very modern composites, a whole redesign of the turret, of course. Here, a whole bunch of ERA as well, with composites as well. On the side here, I think it's ERA. I think, if I'm not mistaken as well, right? So just overall, a very, very interesting tank that it is coming. Indeed, of course, remember, this is the Varta, not the... it's comparable to the Stora, but it is the Varta system. So electro-optical active protection system. Of course, it will protect against most... normal ATGMs, so like the tow launchers, the Concours, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So let's even test this thing. Let's put it to the test over here. Hold up. We need to get... Where is it? Is it here? Did they change it up? I don't think he does have one, right? Normally he's right here, right? So, I don't know. A little bit bugged, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing completely stuff that is completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was right here. So I don't know. Anyway, and of course we need to talk about the actual modification. So it has thermals for the commander and gunner, and NVD for the driver, of course. It does have the laser warning system, which is pretty good. It uses the GP-125 anti-tank missile, 5 kilometers, which is plenty. Beam riding, of course, obviously, and 850 millimeters of penetration, and it is stunning, okay, which is a pretty good thing. So this is a pretty amazing missile. It really is. This thing is gonna penetrate a lot. You have the OF-26 normal HE from Soviet tanks. You have the BK-18 as well, very old hit FS, but still pretty good. We have the BM-42, which is the normal Mango shot, right? Pretty good gun, pretty good shot actually as a stock round. But then we have the BTA-4. So I don't know. I mean, how like differences in real life of these rounds to other rounds, but 552 millimeters zero at zero. And as you can see, at 60 degrees, it actually penetrates pretty well as well, above 300 millimeters. So it is a pretty good like round. It really is. And it maintains, that's the thing that I like about this round, is that it maintains the penetration very, very well. So even, I mean, if you look, 2,000 meters, it only loses like 40 millimeters of penetration. It's pretty good. Of course, other rounds already do that, but when you are penetrating above 550 at zero, when you have 2,000 with 500, it's still a pretty amazing round, right? So very good round. It has a 6.5 auto-loading mechanism, so it's pretty fast. I mean, obviously not the greatest thing ever. Maybe there are better ones out there like Type 90 and stuff, but it doesn't matter. It is still very much on par with Russian and Soviet tanks, right? So this is the Oplot, guys. I know. It's a tank that you probably already saw, but I really wanted to show to you guys because this tank will make every Russian main, or I mean, I'm gonna say Soviet main, right, want to research the Japanese, because it is kind of like a different flavor of a T-series of tanks, right? So we had, for example, the T-80U and some other like Russian tanks or Soviet tanks in other tech trees, but they're just copy-paste. This is actually a unique design, right? It's completely different. And one thing that I saw in the dev stream that I really wanted to show to you guys, it's the large size of the lower glacis rubber mount over here, or like dust mount, or I don't know what this thing is for. Probably like a dust or something, right? But look at the size of the thing. So look at it. It's pretty huge, right? And why is that important? Because look on the size of the actual lower glacis. It is obviously one of the main weak spots of any Soviet-style tank, right? Of course, it's very small. In real life, of course, you wouldn't be able to probably aim at these. I mean, in normal ranges, you probably wouldn't aim for this. So that's why, this is a weak spot in real life, right? Of course, in the game, we can, with the way that it's CQB combat, almost of the time you can aim for weak spots, right? But it means that the weak spot is still here, right? And with this in mind, it's very cool to have these rubber things that are pretty huge because the target might actually miss it. So if you are going to face this thing, remember, you need to fire on the top part. But I guarantee to you guys, there will be people missing because, almost half of it is not like 40%, 30 to 40% is just rubber. And it will go below the tank. So I find it very interesting, right? Another thing, of course, is that obviously the driver hatch is always going to be a weak spot. The weak spots are the same, okay? It's just that, of course, this kind of rubber mount it's kind of funny because it will make people miss shots. I have a feeling, right? So pretty good, very interesting tank. For sure, I'm going to get it for myself. Very cool. See you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know in the comments what you think about the Oplot T. Very cool tank.